Welcome to our channel, where we share with you the most amazing stories from around the world. Make sure to subscribe and press the bell button so you don't miss out on any of our stories. And now let's begin. A young woman was on her way home after spending a lovely day shopping with her girlfriends. As they were walking down the street, one of them noticed a sleek black SUV approaching them. The car slowed down next to them, and the window rolled down to reveal an attractive man inside, asking if they needed a ride. Being the cautious young ladies that they were, the group politely declined the offer and continued on their way. However, the man insisted and even offered to drive them all the way home, which seemed like an enticing offer. Despite her friends' protests, the woman couldn't help but feel curious about the man and his luxurious car, so she decided to accept the ride. As they got into the car, the man introduced himself as William and informed them that he was heading in the same direction. He was kind, good-looking, and well-dressed. The woman found herself drawn to him, but her friends couldn't shake off the feeling that something wasn't right. They had just met this man, and he was already offering to drive them home. It felt too good to be true. Despite their apprehension, the women allowed William to drive them home. He was charming and charismatic, and before they knew it, they arrived at their destination. The women thanked William for the ride and went inside. As the days passed, the women couldn't stop thinking about William. His charm and good looks made him stand out from the rest. One of the women decided to take a chance and reached out to him through social media. To her surprise, he responded, and they started chatting. They exchanged numbers, and soon enough William became a regular fixture in their lives. He took them out for dinner, shopping, and even introduced them to his friends. Everything seemed perfect. The women were having the time of their lives, and they couldn't help but fall in love with William. However, one day, one of the women stumbled upon something that made her question everything. She found a picture of William with a different group of women on his phone. When she confronted him, he lied and said that they were just friends. But his explanation didn't sit right with her. Something about his behavior just didn't add up. Determined to get to the bottom of the truth, she decided to follow him. What she discovered was shocking. William was leading these girls to his mansion. The sight that greeted her was like something out of a nightmare. There were women everywhere, all seemingly under the same spell as her friend. It became clear to her that William was a dangerous man who used his charm to manipulate and exploit women. Horrified by what she had seen, she immediately contacted her friends, warning them about William's true nature. At first, they didn't believe her. They thought she was just jealous because William had chosen to spend time with the other women. But when she showed them the evidence, they were shocked. They had been living in a nightmare, and they didn't even realize it. Panicked, they tried to distance themselves from William, but it was too late. He had them trapped in his web. Determined to escape William's clutches, the women devised a plan. They pretended to be interested in spending time with him, buying him expensive gifts and showering him with affection. All the while, they were secretly plotting their escape. They knew that they had to act fast before William grew suspicious. Under the pretense of a double date, they invited two of William's friends over to their house. While William was out running errands, the women quickly locked him in the bathroom. They had taken precautions to ensure that he wouldn't be able to escape. Once William was secured, the women called the police and explained the situation. When the officers arrived, they were shocked to discover what William had been up to. They arrested him and charged him with multiple counts of kidnapping and assault. As news of William's arrest spread, more women came forward with their stories, revealing the full extent of his horrific crimes. The women who had been trapped in his mansion were finally free, but they knew that the road to recovery would be long and difficult. The trauma of their experience would stay with them forever. However, they were grateful for their friendship and the support they received from each other. Together, they were able to piece their lives back together and move forward. The once seemingly perfect man had been unmasked as a monster, but the women were stronger and wiser for having escaped his grasp. Now, here is the surprising part of the story. After William's arrest, the women decided to take legal action against him. They wanted justice for what he had done to them. However, they soon realized that William was a very wealthy man, and he had powerful connections. His lawyers were top-notch, and he had enough money to keep them at bay. The women were disheartened, but they refused to give up. They knew that they had a strong case against William, but they needed help to prove it. Just when they were losing hope, one of the women remembered a journalist who had a reputation for taking on powerful people. She reached out to the journalist and told him their story. The journalist was moved by their tale and agreed to help them. He started digging into William's life and uncovered a lot of dirt. It turned out that William had been involved in a lot of shady dealings, and he had a lot of enemies. The journalist published a series of articles exposing William's crimes and his dark secrets. The articles created a media frenzy, and public outrage forced the authorities to take action. The women were overjoyed. Finally, someone was holding William accountable for his actions. However, William was not going to go down without a fight. He sued the journalist for defamation and tried to silence him. But the journalist was not afraid. He had the truth on his side, and he was not going to be intimidated. In the end, William's attempts to silence the journalist failed, and the truth came out. The women were grateful to the journalist for helping them expose William and bring him to justice. In the end, William was convicted of his crimes and sentenced to life in prison. The women were finally free from the monster who had haunted their nightmares. They had endured years of captivity and abuse, but they had survived, and they were stronger than ever before. The experience had brought them closer together, and they knew that they could always rely on each other for support. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think the women made the right decision by accepting William's offer, or do you think they should have been more cautious? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell button so you don't miss out on any of our amazing stories. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. A married couple had been trying to conceive for a while, but unfortunately their attempts were unsuccessful. The woman was heartbroken and desperate to become a mother. She tried everything, from natural remedies to acupuncture, but nothing seemed to work. Just when she was about to give up, she heard about a fertility statue that was supposed to help women conceive. The statue was located in a remote temple, and the journey to get there was long and arduous. But the woman was determined to try anything if it meant that she could finally have a baby. With the support of her husband, she embarked on a pilgrimage to the temple. They traveled for weeks, facing many obstacles along the way, but their determination never wavered. When they finally reached the temple, they were greeted by an old monk who told them that the fertility statue was hidden deep within the temple grounds. He gave them cryptic clues and sent them on a series of trials that tested their faith and resolve. The couple persevered, overcoming each challenge that stood between them and the statue. Finally, they were led to a secluded garden where they found the fertility statue. It was beautiful and ancient, and the woman felt a sense of hope and possibility wash over her. According to legend, all a woman had to do was touch the statue with faith, and she would conceive. The woman closed her eyes, placed her hands on the cool stone, and made a wish. As she did, she felt a surge of positive energy flow through her body. She knew that this was her only chance, and she put all of her hopes and dreams into that moment. When she opened her eyes, she saw that her husband was crying. She asked him what was wrong, and he told her that the old monk had just appeared behind them. He had witnessed the woman's wish and was moved by her devotion. The monk told them that he had been observing them on their journey and had seen the strength and love they had for each other. He believed that they deserved happiness and that the statue had chosen them. The monk then revealed that the statue had a special power. It did not simply grant fertility, but also brought couples closer together and helped them appreciate the blessings in their lives. The woman and her husband were overjoyed. They thanked the monk for his guidance and set off on their journey home, hand in hand. The woman was still in disbelief. She couldn't believe that her dream of becoming a mother was finally coming true. As the days passed, she began to feel a strange sensation in her stomach. At first, she ignored it, but as the weeks went by, the feeling grew stronger. She took a home pregnancy test just to be sure, and the result was positive. She was pregnant. The woman and her husband were overjoyed. They shared the news with their family and friends, and everyone celebrated with them. The woman's journey to motherhood had been long and difficult, but it had been worth every moment. She had learned that patience, faith, and love were the keys to happiness, and so the story of the fertility statue became a legend, a tale of hope and happiness that was passed down through generations.